Yo, what is going on, everybody? So, welcome to our very first episode of Between the Lines podcast. We got myself, Robert from the Philly Sports Talk podcast. We got Coach Dante, and we got Key in the building. What's going on, you guys?
What's
Nothing
going
much, man.
on?
No, yes, you
Baseball is
are
kicking off.
on time, Vic. You good?
Yes, you are. About time, Vic, you do something. About time you come on time. But let's get it going, guys. We have some interesting off-season moves to get into, man, and
What's
let's
going
get
on,
right.
Jay? So, obviously, that goes into the first topic.
I'm
Let's talk
ready.
about
I got my notes and everything. I'm prepared today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Key. So we're gonna let's. So, what are your thoughts so far on the start of free agency? Even though it's so early in free agency.
I mean, again, it's the Houston Astros getting Justin Verlander back is a big key to this pitching staff, adding a veteran guy, keeping that veteran guy. I think if I have to guess, they're gonna lose Carlos Correa to somebody. He already turned down an extension, and then if I say, yeah, I mean, I think he's ready to go win somewhere else. But even though with Carlos Correa gone, I think the Houston Astros has a chance to still be good. You still got Kyle Tucker, you still got Yordan Alvarez. The Astros got a very good farm system. So again, they can develop somebody good, but signing Justin Verlander back, even when Lance McCullers out in that World Series, kind of hurt the Astros pitching staff a little bit. To add along Garcia and Valdez, I think that's a key signing for the Houston Astros.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just like absolutely. I mean, the fact that the Astros got Justin Verlander for another year. I mean, from what I've been hearing, it's just like his teammates kind of don't like him to a certain extent, because I've been hearing a lot of things rumbling in between behind closed doors with the team. But yeah, what about you, Key?
Definitely for Houston to sign Verlander back, you don't want to risk him going somewhere else, but I don't know who else would pick him up. So Houston definitely was, the good move for him. As far as Correa, I think he may stay only because Houston don't have a replacement for him yet. So they don't want to look for the farm to replace him at shortstop. So I think he may end up staying, but if he chooses to go, I'm sure there's other people who can pick him up, i.e. Philadelphia. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You all know we ain't got no shortstop, but yeah. So
Absolutely.
Either way, like either these signings I'm looking at, and I'm just like, can the Phillies call them up? It's some good big names that hasn't been signed that could go wherever, and I'm sure we're gonna cover that tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Obviously, what I have right now, there's a lot of free agents right now on the market. So, right now, I think tonight, I think we should just I actually might as well go with pitching, because I made a list of a lot of free agents.
Shout out to Bryce Harper for winning the.
Actually, yeah.
Shout out to you, Bryce Harper. You deserve it.
I'm not really. Ohtani in the AL. Did y'all think he should have won or Vlad should have won? Because I know
I think it was the right move. I think it was the right move. I definitely agree. Go ahead, Robert. My bad. Go ahead.
So here's my thought on it. Because what we saw from Ohtani, we haven't seen over 100 years since the days of the great Bambino, Babe Ruth. And as much as I agree with Dante, having Vlad, just like what Ohtani has been accomplished to be a two-way player in the major leagues, and probably the toughest division or toughest league, you probably in the American League, which is pretty much you're doing one thing. It's either or. But with Ohtani, it's different. It was tough though. It's like it can go either way between Vlad and Ohtani. But unfortunately, Ohtani was unanimous, and I'm not surprised at what we saw out of Ohtani this season.
I definitely agree with Robert. You don't find so many players that can pitch and hit at the same time. And he's making an impact on both sides, pitching and hitting. I mean, look at the start that he had this year. I mean, he came out like a bat out of hell, hitting the ball, spraying the ball all across the field. Again, all of a sudden making an impact on pitching. Too is a very solid pitcher too. I mean, that he's definitely deserves to be unanimous. Vlad had a good season, but Ohtani was by far is kind of better.
Absolutely.
I think if Ohtani didn't pitch, I think Vlad would have won. But because he was dominating, hitting, and he was a two-way player at there was a clear choice for Ohtani to win.
Yeah. I mean, you're dominant in both things, both what you do. He's dominant at both what he do, pitching and hitting. So, and then, like I say, the man can hit, the man can pitch. I mean, that's just too much to overcome. But Vlad is going to be something special. That Blue Jays team is going to be something good. George Springer can never stay healthy on that team. He's got a championship in Houston. He brings some of that championship pedigree to that locker room. So ever since he left Houston, he has not been the same. He has not been the same player. He's been hurt. And I say Garrett Cole has been all right since he left Houston, but he has not been that stud Garrett Cole that you've seen in Houston. Joey Shakes, what's good, my boy?
What is going on? Yeah.
So what about the Cy Young? Did they get that right? I mean, Robbie Ray was amazing for Toronto.
I wanted Robbie Ray because, and here's the thing, because the fact that he transformed to what he was from his time in Arizona to Toronto, like it's night and day with Robbie Ray. Yeah, I mean at times like he can get knocked around, but he's been very consistent since joining the Blue Jays. And the fact, and I don't know if nobody noticed it, like his velocity has been kind of ticking up a little bit, because obviously what was going on in Arizona, which was abysmal. But I think Robbie Ray definitely deserves it. Then we get to the National League.
It was really, really close between Burns and Wheeler. Like with a matter of points, I think it was.
I think it's like 10 votes.
It was like 10 votes. It was 151 to 141. So it was really, really close.
Absolutely.
I thought Wills would have pulled that out, but he pitched great this year.
Absolutely.
The one game that I did go see live, I forget who he was playing, but he was lights out, automatic. That was a great pickup by the Phillies this year. Hopefully, we can add some more to the pitching staff. It is some good name pitchers on this free agency. We just gotta see if we can pull the trigger. But Wheeler played great this year. Burns was in one of the best rotations in baseball with Milwaukee, so I can't even be mad at that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, it comes to, and that's another thing too. I think, and I know Corbin Burns kind of led the National League in ERA, but I think if you take a look at from a bigger picture, I think Wheeler could have had at least in more categories then. And that's another thing too. Do you think the voting, Cy Young voting should at least include the more advanced statistics to where makes it much easier than going to say, the ERA, the WAR, and not WAR, I mean innings pitched. Do you think the voting should at least change to some extent?
I mean, you got a blueprint on if you're not winning games, if you're not making the playoffs, that's what it comes down to it. Just like the NBA, if your team make the playoffs, who's going to get that Rookie of the Year award? The person that made the playoffs. So again, I know Wheeler had a great season, but he didn't make the playoffs, so that probably will have an impact on him not being a Cy Young Award winner. Is winning games and making the playoffs. If he didn't make the playoffs, you probably have a case for it. But again, all winning values everything. Values trumps how the voters do as well. The voters take account of winning and making the playoffs as well. So again, pitching for the Phillies is a desperate need for the Phillies. You got Noah being consistent all year. I remember when he used to be one of the top pitchers in the game.
Yeah,
Robbie Ray was electric in Arizona. I like the Robbie Ray. So whoever him getting signed by I think the Blue Jays, I believe that's a big pick up for that pitching staff.
Absolutely. What is going on, Team Elite? But yeah, and that's another thing too. Like you said, Nola has been like the first 3 years that Nola has been in the league. He's been very consistent those 3 years. But once the
September is not his month. September is not his month.
Absolutely. But going into the obviously before we get into the second topic, what do you guys think about the Noah Syndergaard signing? I thought that was I'm thinking myself,
it's interesting. I mean, he still ain't gonna help the Angels none.
It's true, but at least it improves their pitching set. Just a tad. What is going on? But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too. Now you got if he can stay healthy, I mean, you got a deadly 1-2 punch out with the Angels with Ohtani and Syndergaard, and I obviously go into kind of breaking down what I said in my video, that the Mets undercutted him. Like, they offered less than what the MLB qualifying offer was about 18.4 million. And I said, like, you have a billionaire owner, but you want to have somebody to almost underpay, which despite the fact that he's still. I mean, I get it when it comes to the Tommy John. I mean, he hasn't really pitched in a couple of years, which kind of does play into that factor. But I just kind of feel like you pretty much lost out on a good pitcher when healthy. Dante?
Yeah, Noah Syndergaard is a great pitcher when healthy with the New York Mets. But outside of Ohtani and Noah Syndergaard, I don't think the Angels will have enough pitching outside of those two. I don't know who that third guy that you can plug in outside that pitching staff. And without Mike Trout, who's the LeBron James basically of baseball, when he's healthy, without him, I don't know about these bats. I mean, Rendon has not really been the same. You got a lot of at bats in a lot of pieces that's really good, but the pitching has been terrible this year. They've been getting battered. They've been getting battered around. So you got to see what you're gonna do with Fletcher too. I think the shortstop was on the verge of getting traded at the trading deadline. I think that never happened.
Sure.
Yeah, I think he can be a great fit for somebody's team, but that pitching staff for the Angels, but outside of those two, who is that third guy? Who is that rotation that's going to come in to help this team? Because you still got the Mariners. I think they're going to lose Corey Seager. I think it's Kyle Seager. Kyle Seager. He's a good hit. He's a good hitter as well. You're going to lose him.
Despite the fact, was he like 33, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah,
and that's the thing too. Like, he had a career year with the Mariners. Like, people don't realize. Look, I mean, I get it because everybody say he's like the because obviously when Corey Seager was coming up, like, everyone was talking about Corey. But it's like, and the fact that, I mean, I wish, man. I absolutely wish.
That would be amazing.
They got but yeah, going back to that, I mean, I think the bet and I'll give the Mariners credit too, man. Like, what they have done, I mean, did they make, despite the fact not making the postseason, but they shown, like, Scott Service, man, like, despite with the team that he had inherited, and actually had some pretty decent talent too. Like, Marco Gonzalez was pretty solid for them. It's like, you guys, like, I think the Mariners at some point is going to be a very good playoff team for years to come.
I agree. I mean, don't forget about these guys that they added. That was very good for the Astros. Abraham Toro. We traded him. We was in the series with them when we traded him. And for Kendall Graveman. We traded him for Kendall Graveman. By the way, who's done a very good job with
Kendall
the
Graveman. It's an absolute.
He's nice, man. He's nice. Him and Phil Maton, that bullpen was nice. Emi Garcia,
absolutely.
But Abraham Toro can hit, man. That guy can hit. So they got some hitters in that lineup, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the fact that's like, it's just like, obviously the Astros, man, they're always like a well-oiled machine together. Now the fact that you got some pretty good, decent bullpen pieces too. But the problem is, though, it's like some of them are kind of getting up there in age. But I think knowing how your team is going, it's like, really, I mean, I feel like age really doesn't matter, because I just feel like they kind of bring out the best potential. And going back to Carlos Correa, obviously, I'm kind of still ticked off of what he said about Jeter. That still kind of puts a sour taste in my mouth, in my honest opinion, because the fact that he's an overrated site. Okay, look, I get it. He has won his first Gold Glove and Platinum Glove, if I'm not mistaken, for Correa. Dante, you're gonna have to. Because I'm not sure, because I think he might. I don't know, but the fact they say he said, Derek Jeter does not deserve his 5 Gold Gloves, like,
what in what world? Jeter was the man at shortstop.
Exactly.
How can you say that?
Oh, exactly, and the fact that if he doesn't, I mean, the dude's a Hall of Famer too, like, no doubt about it. But kind of a iffy owner with the Marlins, but yeah. But since we're kind of talking about kind of pitching, because there's a lot of names I have on the list right now. Like, the biggest, like, the kind of, I can say, like, the big 3 you can go after is Max Scherzer. I know he's kind of
Boston. Baseball's first.
Yeah, my buddy Miles. I guess
It's pretty much Kershaw is on this list.
Dylan Bundy. I thought Dylan Bundy. I'll be honest, man. Dylan Bundy was pretty solid with the Angels, and I really hope the Angels can recycle, because I thought he was pretty good with the Angels. I think the Angels should at least keep him to be number 3. So with
but Dylan Bundy, he can be good at spurts when he's on it, but
absolutely
he shows a little bit of inconsistency in Baltimore and the Angels. He can be a solid pitcher when he's on. The problem is he'll tend to walk guys too much, and he continued to throw the ball over the plate a lot, which led to guys able to catch a hold to him and hit him. But when he's on, he's a pretty solid pitcher. When he's off, it can turn bad for any team that picks him up.
Absolutely. And like another guy, I think you can really make an impact. I mean, despite, he's already up there in age, it's Corey Kluber and what he has done, on a career rejuvenation. I mean, he could at least be decent for somebody, for other teams. It's just like, obviously, I think you guys who remembers Scott Kazmir?
I do. He used to play for the Astros. He used to pitch for the Astros.
Like, once I saw him back with the Giants, like, no way. Like, I thought this guy would have been out of the league. Like, what was the last time he played? Like, because I remember I mean, Key can attest this too, man. We kind of beat him around in 2008 when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays. And that's another guy I think I could pretty think who can make an impact is Kevin Gausman for the
San Fran. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He had a great year. Kevin Gausman had a great year.
And that's another thing too. Like these former Orioles that who leave Baltimore, like Kevin Gausman, he kind of looked like he turned himself around. And
these guys needed a change of scenery. That's what it really happens. Like you stay somewhere that you stink, and then when you go somewhere else, you're like, wow, this is the atmosphere I'm in. You tend to play better. So that's like typical Philly. Whoever leaves here goes somewhere to shine. So I guess it's not just other places, not just here. Other teams happen too.
Despite the fact most of the media attention is on us, almost 100% of the time. I think another guy I will hope, God forbid, is Carlos Rodon. Despite that, he's only 29 years old, but he had a pretty good year with the White Sox.
I mean, hey, brother, I agree with you 1,000%. Every pitching for the White Sox done great. They had the best pitching staff in the National Baseball League. Probably the National Baseball League until the Astros got a hold to them.
They just couldn't get past it in the playoffs.
That's it. The Astros hit them all year long. Had basically better practice. But again, when you're a patient team that can run their pitch count up and be patient and wait on the right pitch, that's you can bang any pitching. And the Cubs farm system really helped out the White Sox as well. Dylan Cease, you had Lynn who had a great season. Carlos Rodon, who can be great in stretches for any team. If he's out there, he'll be good for any team out there. That's great. He'll be awesome. The guy can literally pitch. I mean, that White Sox pitching staff was very good, man. And Carlos Rodon was a big piece of that pitching staff.
Exactly. It's the same thing. You can also make an argument for Lucas Giolito, the guy that what was he? There was another guy, Michael Kopech. That's another guy. Like those two guys, and that's another thing, because I remember Lucas Giolito I know last year wasn't that great. Despite, and I get it, I get it. It's a 60 game sample size. I mean, kind of does make sense. I mean, it kind of plays into that, but I kind of feel like, I think overall, there's some teams that are really well built. I mean, you got the Astros, who's kind of always been well built. Chicago, the White Sox. Honestly, that was kind of a surprise team for me because it's just kind of feel like they kind of really turned it around, because after being years of being mediocre, I think now that pretty much you can probably make it for the Cleveland Guardians, which finally that kind of, it's just like, I don't know, that it's just like, I don't know. There's like some of these weird surprise teams like people will not realize. White Sox is one of them, especially in the Central. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, what do you think, Dante, about how the White Sox kind of turned around?
I think it started with the pitching staff in that farm system as well. I mean, in that farm system, Tim Anderson, I think the hitting came a long way. The hitting was a big part of it. Tony La Russa as a manager of this team have a good impact. Someone who has a World Series, who has a great impact in the locker room, even though he's a drunk, even though he appears to be a drunk. But he's he's an awesome manager. And it was good how he led this team. But the hitting, Jose Abreu, Tim Anderson, not improving his strikeout rate, not striking out too much.
Mercedes,
Grandal as well over there, man. You had a lot of hitting over there that was pretty good in spurts that can hit as well. So again, you had guys that can put up great at bats. You just ran into a better team who's better hitting all around. And again, I mean, they had a great season, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with Rodon. Rodon, if he will return back. And I think the White Sox can do it again. And also, their division is weak as well. The Royals, their Royals is terrible. They're a bad team. Cleveland is a bad team. Minnesota is they awful.
Look, everything Minnesota, the Timberwolves, the Vikings, the Twins.
Boy, Minnesota is god awful over there.
Man,
that's another reason.
And that's the thing too. Like, there's a lot of weak divisions. I mean, out of the free, there's a lot of free agents. Like, that goes into obviously with who's going to sign who. That's because obviously I have a huge list of free agents. Well, a list of free agents. So no one really.
Kershaw is a big one. Will he stay with LA?
I pretty much I'm going to say yes on that one, because it's like the dude's a whole. The guy. Even now, modern day, always getting compared to probably one of the greatest Dodgers pitchers of all time is Sandy Koufax, and what he's accomplished out in LA. Doesn't really. I would be shocked if he did not come back to the Dodgers. That's all I have to put. How I put that.
Yep, I got him staying with the Dodgers as well. But if he's gonna leave, if he's gonna go leave, he got to go to a team that's fits to win a championship, a team or a playoff ready team that would need his experience and his championship ability. So I think it wouldn't be right. It wouldn't be right.
Rangers.
I don't like that. I don't like that. That's
another hot take, bro.
Yeah, that's what he said. Hey, Kershaw to the Rangers. Anything can happen, but I don't believe he would go to the Rangers. I just don't believe he would go to a team that's not built to win. I don't believe he'll do that.
Absolutely, because to finish off that, or to include that, he spent majority of his career since 2010 that he got called up. Yeah, so he spent over a decade with the Dodgers. It's just like, you can't deny what Kershaw has done. Guy's already a Hall of Famer, and the fact that he's actually broken records that Sandy Koufax has set in Dodgers history, it's absolutely incredible. Despite, was he like 36, 37? Somewhere around there.
I think he's somewhere around there. I think he's somewhere around that age.
Because I'm saying, and I kind of ask for you guys, like, how much longer do you think Kershaw will last in the MLB?
I think he got a couple more years left.
I say like between 2 to 3 years at max.
I would say 3 years, like 3 years at max. It depends on how he pitches. Between on how well he pitches. I think he got a good 3 years.
Healthy too. That's another problem that is was derailed him a little bit, was the injuries, mostly in his lower back. Like, it's just kind of like, it just doesn't. It's like people don't realize that your lower back injuries are not easy to overcome, though.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. Big fact.
Where does Max Scherzer go? That's another big name. I think if Clay Shaw stays, then Scherzer is going to go somewhere. I don't think they can keep two.
That's a very good point, though. But then again, knowing how the Dodgers can spend money, I gotta say that Scherzer's kind of staying, because I know the Dodgers.
I can see him going to the Cardinals. He could be a part of that Wainwright
Lester.
Jack Flannery, and that he can be that. That can be that 1-2-3 punch over there.
And you got Miles Michaelis as the 4 over in St. Louis. Plus, you got Nolan Arenado over there. I mean,
I can see Max Scherzer either staying with the Dodgers. I can see the New York Yankees spending money on getting Max Scherzer. I can see them spending money on it. They always find a way to pick up some good free agents over there. Or it was one more team I can see them with, San Francisco. I can see them over there as well. So again, those are pretty decent landing spots for Max Scherzer.
absolutely. I mean, and I can also think too, he could also wind up in the American League somewhere to like, oh, I don't know, who knows? Maybe probably Boston, who's been consistent, in the playoff race. Maybe Tampa Bay, maybe.
Yeah.
Only time will tell with Max.
But the problem with Boston is their pitching is suspect. Their pitching is too suspect. They got the hitters in the lineup.
Absolutely.
Their pitching is just anything. Chris Sale is not the same Chris Sale anymore, but their pitching is very suspect, man. But the only thing that keeps them afloat is the hitting, just like the Astros. We have better pitching than they do. It's just we're young in our pitching style, but the bats are so much better than them. It's just I just think the Astros way too much for Boston pitching staff to handle.
Exactly, and that's the thing too. Is like you said, Boston has a suspect pitching, but then again, you also got freaking Nick Pivetta kind of in that rotation, so he's good riddance to him. I mean, and come on, yeah, I knew. Like, I'm sorry, I just find it. But I mean, I'll give Pivetta credit though, man. Kind of turned himself around in Boston. I mean, which is not an easy place to pitch because Fenway's a hitter-friendly ballpark. The way the dimensions are, I mean, I'll give some credit where credit is due. I mean, I feel like Boston kind of won that to some extent, but then we got the short end of the stick, basically. Like you said, Dante, I mean, you guys have way better pitching. Plus, when your hitters are healthy, it's just like that's a dangerous lineup. And obviously, obviously Bregman is now going for surgery. I think it's on his right wrist, if I'm not mistaken, Dante.
Yeah.
It's just like, and I feel like Bregman's another guy that I actually kind of liked, and you can tell he was not. I mean, despite that he was off. I was like, this dude's must be having an injury that no one is really talking about.
Yeah, I think the Astros kind of rushed him back a little bit. He wasn't 100% healthy. I think the Astros kind of rushed him back a little bit because remember he had his right wrist. Then he messed up his hamstring kind of late in the season. So I think he was brought back too early to compete because it's his dying in his will to want to be out there for his team to win the championship. But again, he was hurt throughout the whole series.
Oh yeah, that's for sure, and you can see it too. Like, I mean, it's just like if you and that's kind of brings to the point. Say, if you like rush a player, because it's like you're pretty much going to chance to get them hurt against. I mean, I just kind of feel like, I mean, I like Bregman because I actually enjoy watching him and Nola at LSU, but I just kind of feel like they did kind of look like he did rush them two back because it's like. Do you guys even have a backup third baseman, Dante? Because I don't know if you do.
I not that I know of that we got a backup third baseman. I don't even know if we have a shortstop for Carlos Correa. But the Astros, the good as their farm system is, I would think they would get somebody really in free agency or build up somebody just to be that shortstop. But Astros got so many dynamic players that they can lose. They're strong enough to lose Correa. They were strong enough to let George Springer go and still be good.
Kyle Tucker, who's been
Kyle
Tucker's and I'll say this, man, he's an under the radar kind of player. It's just like, and even in the postseason, man, he was, despite obviously to a slow start in the postseason, but he actually kind of popped off later when you start getting hot, which is like, and obviously you can really. And that's another thing. Like you said, the Astros, compared to the other teams, have a well-built farm system. It's like, okay, so like you lose somebody's biggest Correa. I mean, you got a lot of other shortstops are going to be on the market. But then again, it's just like now we're going to see Correa doesn't want to go with the Yankees, but where do you think? I think Correa might. I mean, there's a few teams that I can think Correa might wind up. I was thinking of the White Sox, but I don't think that might be a fit for him because here we got a shortstop in Tim Anderson.
Tim Anderson, yeah.
Who else is in the? I know maybe us because we're in definite need of a shortstop. But the way that Bryson Stott and going to Bryson Stott, like I think this kid might be ready for to be brought up of what we saw in the Arizona Fall League.
Yeah,
and Logan Ohotsky really just becoming an under the radar player as well in the minors. Dante, where do you think that
Correa? It's like it'll be a surprise.
Oh, that's an interest. Oh, I forget. I didn't think about the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean it's a couple of teams that he can end up with that I can see. Like staying with the Astros, but everything in my suspensions don't leave me. He may stay with the Astros because if you actually wanted to stay, he will sign an extension. So we'll see up on that. You know, if he resign back. But other than that, the worst part for I don't want to happen is him to the Yankees and him going in the division, him going inside the division. If he gonna go anywhere, like I say, to the National League, but the Astros can't trade him. He can decide to go whatever he wants. AJ Hinch is a good fit for Detroit. He's a good fit for Detroit because of AJ Hinch. Used to be the World Series manager, so he knows Carlos Correa. The Phillies do need another bat. They do need another bat in that lineup to help out Bryce Harper. Carlos Correa, I'm gonna tell you about this. If the Phillies somehow can pull it off, this guy, when you need a big time hit, Carlos Correa can deliver, can get you that clutch hit. When you need a home run, Carlos Correa can do it. When you need a play at shortstop, he will do it. This guy is clutch. He's clutch at everything he does. He's a winner, and he improved on his strikeout rate a lot. So that's a guy that can stick in with the Phillies and put some some at bats and make your team better immediately. But the worst thing I don't want him to go to the Yankees. The Yankees already have too many damn problems.
Well, not just that too, but he said he doesn't want to sign with the Yankees. So the Yankees
that's great
because of his Derek Jeter comments, kind of just like,
he would get ran out of New York.
But they gonna boo that boy out the stadium.
See, Kate, what are any thoughts? So you think Correa is gonna wind up?
Look, anybody that needs a shortstop. I mean, the Phillies need a shortstop. He could go to the Mets because I don't know if Baez is going to come back to the Mets. Colorado, Trevor Story not coming back. So everybody who's losing shortstops could go either way. The Dodgers could pick him up.
But again, I think with the Dodgers, I have a feeling they're going to resign Trey Turner because he's been kind of because you got Trey Turner. So I mean, you're pretty much going to lose. I mean, at this time, I mean, you're pretty much losing Corey Seager, but they're kind of making it up with Trey Turner with speed and probably better hitting, in my honest opinion, with Trey Turner.
Yeah, Vic said he don't want no former Astros.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, Vic, you my boy, but that's why the Astros whoop you every year too. That's why they whoop y'all every year
that's
too.
Very true.
Because of the farm system too. Our farm system is very good. Is actually very good too. I mean, the Yankees can be a good baseball team, but the problem is too many strikeout prone guys in that lineup.
And not to mention they have a horrible manager. I mean, Nate, I'm sorry, but I mean, the fact that going off to that, I mean, you would think the Yankees would have moved on. I was like, nah, let's just go piss off more Yankees fans by giving them a 3-year extension. My God, oh man, it's just like that's just like, man, do you really want to piss off my boy Nate too? Like, God damn, it's like
they had to fire the hitting coach. That's how bad it got. They fired what's that hitting coach? Timms. They used to play for the Tigers long time ago. Timms. I think it was James Timms or something like that. The hitting coach. I mean, the Yankees got.
There's some dysfunction. There's some dysfunction at this point.
Yes, if they get rid of some of them strikeout prone battles though, like Brett Gardner, if you're hitting over 1-something, you shouldn't be in a lineup. You shouldn't be in a lineup or nothing. Gleyber Torres has dropped off a little bit. Sanchez can't stop no ball going into the backstop. The pitching staff is iffy after Garrett Cole. like I say, the Yankees got so many holes. I think Rizzo is Rizzo a free agent? Is Rizzo a free agent? Is Rizzo?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, okay.
I have a feeling he's going to resign with the Yankees because I feel like, and I'll say this too. I think he's a better upgrade over Luke Voigt, and I like Luke Voigt,
Yeah.
but I feel like Rizzo can, and this is why I think Rizzo. I think any team could want Rizzo because he's also great offensively and defensively. Luke Voigt is only one sided
Yeah,
at times, you
and
know?
he's a strikeout machine too. He's
Absolutely.
yeah.
And with Rizzo, I mean, you got a how many Gold Gloves has he won? Oh Lord, I know he's won a couple Platinum Gloves. I know that for a fact at first base. I mean, then again, it's just like, I mean, you got Judge and Stanton who actually kind of turned themselves around, despite the fact that Stanton his body is pretty much made out of glass. Which, for I think, my thing is like, do you think Judge could be an MVP candidate for the American League sometime down the road? I think he would.
I think he could. I think he could. It just depends on how the Yankees are doing down the road. It just depends on how they're actually doing. The problem is if you're not winning games or making playoff runs, how can guys vote you if you're not making those type of runs? And Aaron Judge, the type of guy for the Yankees, I like. He does everything for this team. But the problem is he don't got the bat. He got a lot of strikeout bats around him. The only really legit contact hitter you got is DJ LeMahieu, basically, that can hit for contact.
And you got Rizzo.
You got Rizzo. You got Gleyber Torres, who's dropped off a whole bunch.
I mean, Stanton's been.
Don't forget about
Stan is another good one that has improved a lot. Had some big time at bats for this Yankees team, but I think they need to plug in some holes. They need to plug in some more contact hitters than strikeout hitters. That's what the Astros got. The weakest bat is for the lineup is both of their catchers. That's the weakest lineup in the bat
Absolutely.
for the Astros. It's their catchers, but their catchers play defense and got pop. But everything 1 through 7 is pretty legit contact, speed, power. I think that's what the Yankees kind of need. And Matt Olson, again, that guy from the A's, he's a pretty good first baseman. I definitely agree with
he's no slouch either, too. And that's the thing, too. I'm also hearing, too, they're also tied to Matt Chapman as well, because I kind of just like...
He's a good hitter. He's a strikeout machine, though.
That's very true, but I think he could be... Who's their third baseman now? Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, I know Matt Chapman was their third baseman, though.
No, I'm talking about the Yankees. Who's their current third baseman at the moment before the end of...
Last time I checked was Andujar, I believe.
Yeah, and what? Like, I feel like I haven't heard anything.
Syndergaard went to the Angels. He's off the market.
Exactly, and I know it makes a lot of when I actually made that, and it makes a lot of. And another thing too, like it kind of you would think Mets fans would kind of be pissed because it's like, but you got somebody like Jacob deGrom, God forbid, if you can keep that man healthy, which is. That's another thing too. Like some of these teams with the medical stuff or the medical staff, it's like I mean, it's just like it doesn't really make sense. Like I know we've been, Keith, you can attest this too. We've been critical of the medical staff here in the city of Philadelphia, exactly. and the fact that DeGrom's not getting any younger. Was he like 32, 33, give or take?
Yeah. Jacob deGrom, and he's pretty much the only thing that make the Mets relevant on that pitching staff, man. I mean, this guy's good.
Oh, Stroman, but Stroman's another. He's another free agent.
Stroman's a head case at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Stroman, despite him being a head case, but I think Stroman's a pretty good pitcher in his own right. Yeah. I'll give him that. But I just kind of feel like he can. I feel yeah. Okay. So Andujar, I think. Going back to the Yankees, I think, yes, Chapman is a strikeout machine, but I think he could be a better defensive upgrade over Miguel Andujar. The guy who, like, I feel like just Miguel Andujar is I feel like he's just kind of, I feel like when Yankee, like, and this kind of applies to, like, players like Ronald Torres, Gleyber, and that's another thing, too. And for us Phillies, we need to keep Ronald Torres on the bench. And
I think we need the Phillies definitely do need a solid third baseman. I don't trust Alec Bohm. Go out and get a Chris Bryant. I'll take Chris Bryant any day of the damn week.
Yep.
And the fact
Yep.
that you can also, and then the fact that Chris Bryant can also is pretty solid in the outfield
The
too.
outfield, exactly. Yep.
Like, you
Golly,
gotta-
how many holes y'all need? The field. I don't think
So the
need-
Phillies need some pitching is one. It's definitely a priority.
we need an
They need
outfield.
outfield because McCutcheon and Herrera's going, so we don't got no right. we don't got
Oh,
no
that's
left
right. Freddie
field.
Freeman's on the market. He also turned down his qualifying offer.
Right, so we don't got no
Ooh.
center field,
Woo!
He
no
might be
center
gone.
field, no left field. We need a shortstop. So yes, we need holes. No, Damian, we do not need Ben Simmons as the damn pitcher. Get out of here.
Hey, y'all need all them holes, Robert. Y'all need all them holes. The field.
Because McCutcheon's going. That was our left fielder. We don't have-
Herrera's gone.
Herrera's going. We don't got a good quality center fielder and definitely shortstop because DD sucked last year on defense. Oh my
Well,
God, he was horrible.
And not to mention, too, we don't really have a backup first baseman, too, because I think the loss of Hoskins, I'll say this, man, that was a huge. Like, Hoskins was getting hot at the right time for us. And the fact that he went down is like you could see the production in that lineup. Like, it's
What if we was to get a Chris Bryant, put him at third, and have Baum
at first.
go at first? Him and Reese could swap.
Actually,
That's right, too. We also have two Las Vegas boys, too.
Harper and Chris Bryant in the lineup.
Hey, don't you
Boy,
forget. Hey, the Astros passed on Chris Bryant, I believe. They passed on Chris Bryant. They could have had Chris Bryant a part of that in the order too. But it came a cost at a championship. So anytime you win a championship over that, yeah, that's cool. But the Astros could have actually had Bryant. They could have actually had Chris Bryant.
I mean, honestly, this is probably the best comment of the night. Phillies are switching.
Yeah, we got a lot of holes.
Absolutely. And that's another thing, too. Like, there's
the Phillies got Nelson. The Phillies did get Nelson. They did get some bullpen help with Nelson. I just got a tweet about. It's nothing major. I mean,
oh, that's right. It's also from Las Vegas as well. So I'm thinking myself like, and that's another thing too. I did talk about Derek Hall too, as another guy that I thought can have, hopefully one day have a huge impact for the Phils as a first baseman, and he's also can also play the outfield too. And you guys have not checked out that video about that. And it's just like
the Phillies got catcher Garrett Stubbs from Houston and changed for outfielder for Logan Kearney. And then they got
Garrett Stubbs. I know him.
Nelson. Then they got Nick Nelson and Donnie Sands from the Yankees.
I don't know how good Nick Nelson is. So I mean, we're gonna. I mean, that's another. Well,
Garrett Stubbs a little small catcher. He a little small catcher that we had.
But here's the thing: Dombrowski is doing what he can, but you got to think too. With Milton kind of really owning the team, like it's like what Dombrowski is having a hard time working his magic because knowing how John Middleton is, and I said this in two videos when I made about Middleton, he's too stingy with his money. Like the fact you have the fifth and going to you had the fifth highest payroll in baseball, and you don't want to spend any money. That I mean, we definitely, and I think also that too. Other than like the holes that we need, we also need a new owner at this point in time. It's just like it's ridiculous. We were sick of Middleton for years, for a handful. Well, and more recent memories, but I mean, I don't know though, but it's just like, I mean, like Phillies. I mean, the Phillies. We have a lot of shit to take care of. Mostly, we need, God forbid, if Eflin can stay healthy. I think
it's time to move on from Eflin. Honestly,
absolutely.
It's time to move on from Eflin. We need some good starter rotation.
Keep Ranger in there for crying out loud.
I would keep Ranger. Keep Ranger there.
I mean, Gibson was kind of
Nola. I don't know.
I mean, you also got Gibson, who's been very consistent, but later towards the end, kind of just fell off a little bit. Right. I mean, obviously, we have him for this upcoming season.
That's the Astros killer, Kyle Gibson. Astros.
Really?
Killer. Yes.
Oh my God.
He pitched great against Houston. He pitched great.
No, Damien.
Damien Van Lander went back to Houston. Justin Verlander is in Houston.
Yeah, I mean, and because right now we have two. I think so far we have two pitchers off the market, and that's Syndergaard and Verlander.
All right, so who else is on that market? Who's all on the hidden market? Who we got on the hidden
I
market?
say the Phillies should go put their bid in and go get Robbie Ray. He on it market.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. And we're also probably going to also need a backup catcher too, because I do not want to bring that back. And I think we do really need a backup behind. We do need a backup for JT and well, shortstop was. I mean, I would take Javi to play second.
I do like Kyle Schwarber though.
Oh, absolutely. I was like Kyle Schwarber to help with the left field.
Yeah. Kyle Schwarber, he can definitely help, but strikeout machine. He's strikeout machine, but he definitely helps on defense though. He helps on defense, but he's a strikeout machine. He's a strikeout machine.
Biased. I mean, have you not seen the 150? Like it was a 55-foot curveball, and he still swung at it. It's like how do you swing something that's like?
I would love to have a Starling Marte, like Marte.
Oh, I would love
in the field.
I think it's like even give him like a 1-2 year vet minimum. I'll be happy. Stick him in center, and we saw it. Like he with Oakland, he killed it in Oakland.
Yep, he killed the Astros. He killed the Houston Astros in Oakland. I mean, that guy's a solid contact hitter, man. Starling Marte is a very solid contact hitter as well. He's very smart at the plate. And I mean, again, he can fit well. He can fit well with any team.
Absolutely. I mean, he was before he got traded to Oakland. I mean, he was pretty solid for Miami for a good chunk of his career.
He used to kill the Phillies. Every time we played Miami, he killed us.
Absolutely. And now I think, and that's another thing too. Like, I mean, yes, Kyle Schwarber is a strikeout machine, but if we can actually snag both Schwarber and Starling Marte hypothetically, I mean, that could really, at least, settle our outfield problems. And I mean, the fact that now let's move on to Gio Segura. Like, what the hell is going on with him recently? Like, what is going on?
We just all discombobulated.
And it's just kind of feel like, and that's another thing too. Like I just kind of feel like I think we do need another second baseman. But then again, I mean, we can bring back, Ronald Torreyes could also play he's pretty great defensively. Oh, that's a fact, Vic. That's a huge fact.
I can only say the only teams right now who GM ain't jacked up is the Flyers because they're actually doing something right this year for once. Let me not jinx it. But they're actually doing pretty good in their general manager's position.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Damian Craig is still out on the market, but I feel like, and this is why I think I think he's going to really ask for a high. Dante, I know you can attest to this too. That I know Correa's going to ask a lot for a contract. Let's say what, 100+ million, give or take, if I'm guessing correctly.
I believe that's a guy you have to pay a lot of money to. And again, he's not going to the Yankees because he disrespected Derek Jeter, which is, I think that's blasphemous on his end. Derek Jeter is one of the greatest.
Probably one of the greatest
I ever saw. That play against Oakland, that will always be a memorable play when he flipped that.
Trying to score.
When he flipped it, and then the play that he busted his eye open, that he busted his face open, driving in the stands. That's the great Derek Jeter right there.
Like,
but
Derek
again,
Jeter, and this is what, and look, I mean, Correa is good in his own right, but and that's the thing too. I think Jeter at the one point in his career was starting to enter on his latter half, despite the fact he already built on a Hall of Fame career as well. But you got Carlos Correa, who's already entering the prime of his career. So I mean, I would say maybe 170, almost like. Yeah, maybe let's just go like between like 170 and 190, almost close to 200 million. That's kind of what I'm guessing with Carlos Correa, because I know he's going to ask a lot.
He's going to definitely want his money. Want his money. It's going to be interesting to see what team is willing to give him his money. I don't think like I said again, something leads me that he's not returning back to the Houston Astros because he already turned down a qualified extension. He already turned down an extension, so that means. Why you want to go test the free agency market He's just trying to see what's going to be out there. So it should be a lot of teams budging for Carlos Correa to be a part of their batting order because he's a huge piece. I mean, when you need a clutch hit, he can deliver for you. When you need a clutch hit, the game against the White Sox, we were down 2-1. He was down 0-2 in the count. He got a fastball up high.
Yeah, I think he tied the game, if I'm not mistaken.
He gave the Astros. I think he gave the Astros the lead. He gave the Astros the lead 3-2.
Oh yeah,
and after that, that was pretty much a done
crazy,
deal.
but why do I feel like I can see him in San Francisco for the Giants? Why do I have a gut feeling San Francisco? It might be a good, maybe a good fit for Carlos Correa.
But you do got Brandon Crawford too as a shortstop. You got Brandon Crawford over there.
But then again, how long is Brandon Crawford going to be in the league though? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
So I mean, having someone as young as Carlos Correa to really, really play short. And he's got to think too, like, I mean, obviously Brandon Belt's coming back to the Giants. I don't know though. Like, I mean, I know he's coming off Tommy John. I mean, this is what I had the Vic to say. Do you think this Astros pay for Verlander?
No, I don't think they're overpaid.
25 mil.
No, I don't think that. I think that's right. I think it's pretty fair because, like I say, one hole that we have is our pitching staff. We have a young pitching core. They did great in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they just hurt you guys. They rattle with men on base. They always rattle with men on base. But again, they good enough to go through the regular season. Absolutely. So adding Justin Verlander in there and then having no Lance McCullers kind of hurt the team a little bit in the World Series. So again, I don't think they overpaid, and the Astros can afford to kind of take a chance and overpay as good as they are and as good as that hitting lineup are without Springer or Correa. They're good enough team to overcome those.
Absolutely. And the fact that he had like back-to-back all-star seasons with the Astros, like, which we haven't seen since, the time when he was the first one-time all-star during 2013, this time of the Tigers. And the fact he also won an AL Cy Young with the Houston Astros too. Like, I mean, you can't deny the career that Verlander has had. So
just think about this, Robert and Key. When this man was on, him and Garrett Cole, they were untouchable. Yeah,
that's just
when Verlander was healthy. You could not hit him. You could not hit him when he was healthy. And he was still able to throw 97, 95, 96, 100, 99 miles per hour. He was still able to throw that.
36 years old? Maybe turning 37. I don't exactly know how. All I know is like, you got to go young pitcher in Luis Garcia, who is I swear to God, probably the most funkiest pitcher deliveries that I have ever seen.
But he was good though. He was good
though. I'll give him that. That was just. I mean, if McCullers was, I always like McCullers shit, despite the fact, he was. When he's on, he's just disgusting. Like I feel like at times he can be unhittable when he's on.
He has a one of the pitch that you don't want to see. He has a devastating curveball.
Yeah,
devastating curveball.
Which I think he threw almost like 29, more than almost 30 times in the postseason. One year. Just like it's crazy to think about. It's like now you're gonna bring it back Verlander, who's obviously rehabbing for Tommy John, but I think Greinke, who knows how long he's going to be. How long he's going to be the last in the league, but I'll give Greinke credit too for as long as he's lasting in this league that he's had. People don't realize, and I remember watching him with the Royals where he was actually in the upper 90s. It's like, but now we actually see, he's more comfortable with his mechanics. It's like, and the fact that he calls, I swear to God, I've never seen a pitcher call his own pitches like two or just yell it out. I love it, man. I love Zach Greinke, man. The fact that this guy can rake too, along with Madison Bumgarner, and that's another thing too. It's like, and then again, do you think the National League should at least have universal DH?
Yeah,
I think so. If the American League got it, why not? Because pitchers can't hit for shit. Pitchers are not taught to hit the ball. They're pitchers for a reason.
They can also get hit, get hurt by swinging a bat as well.
Look what happened to Jacob deGrom. Like he had shoulder problems, despite the fact he was hitting over 400 from where he was. It's like, and that's the thing. Just like you guys, honestly, I'm all in favor for it because it's like, and I said this too, like you're having guys who are sometimes are in the season early or missing a lot of time with shoulder problems, and it's just like, yeah, I agree with that.
Right, because then you can put some of your good quality person there at DH that can give you them runs instead of just having them on the bench instead of taking it out for your pitcher, because usually they're gonna go after your pitcher. That's an easy strikeout, or they might try to bunt their way on. But if it's a DH in an American League, it definitely should be one.
That's for sure. Like, and that's another thing too. I think another guy that Philly should at least bring back is Brad Miller, and what he's done for us since his return, like 20 home runs, was an almost 60 RBIs to finish the year.
And he wasn't bad at first either.
I
mean, he had his moments at first.
Yeah, it's true, but I think he could be very good as a DH, in my honest opinion.
I got a question for both of y'all.
Shoot.
Corey Seager, we y'all think he could end up at Corey Seager? We y'all think he can end up
I'll take him.
I'm key on this one because and the reason why, I mean, Corey Seager, he's still in the prime of his career. I mean, the guy can do pretty much. I mean, at times can strike out at times, but not just recently that we can think of. I mean, he's been kind of an on-base machine. Like, it's like, I mean, he's still young.
Marcus Semien is out there too. He can play shortstop in
Marcus Semien had an excellent year, man.
Oh man, give up to Marcus Semien, man.
Yes.
The fact that, like, who would have? Absolutely.
The game is slow enough and boring for all.
Yeah, that's what key.
Right.
Absolutely, and look, the fact I can attest to this too. Is like I would never have thought Marcus Semien would be in the MVP conversation. Like that really took me by surprise. It's like Vlad, yes, Ohtani, yes, but Marcus Semien, I was like, wow, okay, and kind of says we're kind of reaching the 1 hour mark, but who do you think is going to be a surprise, potential playoff team? For me, I think it's the Blue Jays because the way with what they have.
If they find a way to re-sign Robbie Ray and keep all those pieces, definitely Vlad. You all know what he can do. I
mean, they re-signed Barrios. So, I mean, that's good. That's
really I can see them.
I got them as a dark horse team to make the playoffs in that American League. That what they in the American League East over Boston. It's still going to be tough to overcome Boston and the Yankees, but the Toronto Blue Jays can definitely do it. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say another team, if they can get right. They got the right batters. I don't think they have too much of the pitching style. The San Diego Padres. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say
absolutely
yes.
Despite the fact that they got stuck with Velasquez, which and look, sucks. It's like. That's like, oh man, I'm going to feel bad for Padres fans because they're going to watch a train wreck. And that's another thing too. It's like, you guys. I mean, the Padres have a great team, kind of built around. But the problem is that they don't have pitching. I mean, they got Yu Darvish.
He sucks bad. He sucks bad in big moments. He sucks.
I mean. Could it be worse? You get stuck with Velasquez and Jake Arrieta for the Padres.
I don't even know why the Phillies even got Jake Arrieta to let him go. Good riddance.
Well, I mean, that's probably one of the best moves they ever made.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I think maybe like years down the road, I think the one potential playoff team, if they can get their stuff fixed right, is the Baltimore Orioles, because. Think about it this way: back in 2013, man, who remembers how good the Orioles were? Because you had Adam Jones, Delman Young.
Yep.
You had
Chris Davis, all them guys.
Yeah, like that was like they almost close to made the World Series during their playoff run. Like, and just like now, just like Chris Davis, I feel like they overpaid. I'll say that. the Nationals. Well, that depends on what needs they need. Brewers man. Brewers are always going to be a playoff team. That's a given. But to finish off, like, what do you guys think about the man? And I know Key's going to say this is a huge pain for me and Key too. Is like seeing fucking Gabe Kapler winning, man.
It never fails. He was here with the Phillies. He goes to San Fran, gets you know what the difference is? They got players for him, like,
and that's a better management.
They got better managers, better pitching. So I see why he got Coach of the Year.
Yeah, they got better hitting over there. They got Steven Duggar, Brandon Crawford, Buster Posey.
Brandon Brown.
Buster Posey retired now.
Yep.
Buster Posey's retired.
Yeah, but he's an all-time great catcher, man.
He's going to be the greatest catcher of all time. Hands down.
He's all-time great.
I mean, the best player of all time in that franchise is probably Willie Mays. Well, and Barry Bonds too.
Astrid.
Yeah, he was asterisk. But, a lot of it's just like, now, here's the thing. When I saw the final, it's like, and I saw Mike Schilt on there, it's like, what in the absolute, how does that for me doesn't make any sense. The fact that the guy who held that team, 11, 12 straight, maybe even more, and then gets fired, is like, what are you doing? Like, I thought he was actually a pretty good manager for the Cardinals. Like, and then you give him it's like, I don't know, man.
I mean, but the Giants, one thing about them, they always lose when it matters the most. I mean, they got beat in the first round this year. You'd think they're a World Series team the way they played this year. They were a World Series team, but that goes by the Dodgers being more experienced in knowing what to do in big time situations. And now you mean to tell me, why is Dusty Baker not in the manager of the year conversation? Why we have to? Why we have to give it to a drunk and someone that lost the first round? They got dominated in the first round.
Kevin Cash.
Kevin Cash won it for the Tampa Bay Rays back to back. He won it last year.
I thought they gave it to Tony La Russa. They better not give it.
No, Tony La Russa was not even considered.
He was nowhere near.
Why Dusty Baker wasn't considered? Why is he wasn't considered?
Which I can agree. That's just absolute some bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. But I mean, look, it is what it is. But then again, I mean, you guys got him for another year. I mean, who knows? I mean, he could probably, if he can do what he can't. I mean, I have to say this, man. Which sucks though, man. It's like, and the fact, and then I've watched it. I love watching this guy manage too. Is it's like the fact that this guy can be a Hall of Fame manager but doesn't have a ring really sucks.
That sucks, right?
That sucks.
That sucks, man. Yes, it does.
What's going on, Hit Squad Productions? Absolutely. That we've seen in almost in 3 decades.
He's been all over, and he's been good with every team he was. The Reds, San Fran.
I was about to say, yeah.
He went.
Just still cannot grasp the brass ring. It's just like, why?
I think if he gets one, he's done. He's going. He's going ride the sunset.
Pretty much. I was like, that would be a nice send off. But then again, obviously we're coming to the final thoughts. Dante, any final thoughts for you before we end it?
I hope the Astros, if they lose Carlos Correa, they have a backup plan at the shortstop situation.
Or
pick up one of the free agency. That any one of them, it will help, man. So if they can't get Carlos Correa to come back, it'll be interesting if what they would do with their shortstop situation. You got the second baseman solidified, you got your third baseman solidified, you got your first baseman, you got everything else solidified. You even got Justin Verlander to step in there to come back. But now it will be interesting to see that shortstop situation. If Carlos Correa don't come back, if they opposing he's not coming back, who would they pick up in the free agency block? So that will be interesting. That'll be
very interesting to see.
For me to see, and it'll be interesting to see what the Phillies do in this off season.
Like I said, I'm looking at notifications like nothing against Phillies. And here we go.
Then no, if I'm knowing Dante, I know what he's thinking about us getting swept by the motherfucking Diamondbacks. I know.
Hey,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
yeah. Y'all got swept by the worst team in baseball.
Hey, look, and we could not beat the two worst teams in baseball. That's the
We couldn't
Orioles.
beat Pittsburgh either.
Exactly. Oh, that's right about Pittsburgh. We couldn't beat Pittsburgh. We could not beat Baltimore. And the fact that we get swept by the goddamn Diamondbacks, like something's
Horrible.
like, oh, for the love of all that is holy, man. I
Is
was
y'all
like
manager
crazy.
still out? Is he still out?
Yeah, we
I will fire that dude. If you lose by the three worst teams in baseball, I would no way he'll be up out of a job. He will be up out of a job at that point in time.
yeah, and that's what, and since we were talking about Dusty Baker, like it sucks that everything that this is what
with his comment.
that's for certain, man. And he also like I think at one point when he managed, God, and people can still remember his son running out to almost home plate, almost getting run over by was it Snow? Eric? No. Wait a minute. I can't think of his name though. That's really what's bothering me.
Damien, that's why the White Sox would never be shit either. And that's why the Astros will always be whooping y'all ass too. Yeah.
But Key, any final thoughts from you?
Oh man, I just want to. It's funny because we're in November, December's coming up, and pitchers and catchers go back to clear in spring training in February. It's just like baseball's almost coming back again. I just want the Phillies to pull the trigger on somebody. It's just sad looking at Phillies baseball. They haven't been in the playoffs in a minute. We got to give some help behind Bryce Harper and JT Remuto and all these guys. That we need some damn pitching.
JT Snow. Okay.
Damn it.
Absolutely. That JT.
JT Snow. Wow.
For some reason, I had Eric Snow on my mind for no apparent reason. But yeah, I mean, guys.
Dusty Baker does not know Doc Rivers. Get out of here.
Absolutely. Nah, that's
it.
Now, at least Dusty Baker can make a goddamn World Series and make a damn finals. At least he can do that. Doc Rivers can't even do that. What you say? Yeah, there we go. Put him in that kitty corner. Yeah, he can't even do that. Yeah, he can't even do that. He can't even make it to the finals. Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have to wrap it up here because I have another stream about 5 minutes. So I mean, Dante, Key, it's been fun. For the last hour.
Man. Can't wait till next weekend, man.
Yes,
sir. Hope we get some more people off that list, and let's hope the Phillies and the Astros can sign somebody, sign some goddamn. Well, the Astros already signed some goddamn body already, then. So
I really hope so.
Yeah.
But for those who stuck around, Damien, who's actually got stuck in the kitty corner for the next 5 minutes, but you can check out these two. I had their socials linked down below in the description. I got really nothing else to say, but we're out of the building.
Come back next Friday.